We're born in the moonlight. Ain't a fan to say. Can't breathe in the sunlight.
Hello, beautifuls. This is Aromie here. I was gonna say this is Changeling here. No, this is Aromie here. We're playing Changeling. We're here, gonna go see Vilos and see if he's gonna let us help him. The final bell was ringing soon, so I decided to stop by the cafeteria before heading up to the library to grab something to drink. I slipped the journal back in my backpack and zipped it up as to head that way. I feel like something's wrong and it's gonna happen. I thought that was blood, but that's just trees. Okay. I heard the angry voices before I opened the door and almost turned away. But I realized with this sinking stomach that I recognized the people arguing in the empty cafeteria. Elliot? And Sean and Derek. After this morning, I bit my lip and hesitated to go in. It sounded pretty intense. That was probably why none of them noticed me when I did quietly slip inside. Sean and Derek had to have that stupid werewolf hearing, but distracted as they were, I was able to loiter by the door without being noticed. You need to back off. Why? Oh, who's punching who? And why are your eyes like that? Why are you going to werewolf mode? He grabbed Ellie and slammed him against the vending machine. It scraped backwards, the back corner smashing into the wall as he pinned Elliot there. Jeez, and Elliot wasn't even the one who told Danny to go after them. I'm just trying to help. Well, it looks like the opposite. I cleared my throat softly before I threw that punch. The three of them looked my way, visibly startled at the interruption. I didn't exactly expect to radiate the intimidation, so I wasn't shocked when Sean openly scoffed at my presence. But Elliot took advantage of the distraction, slipped out of Sean's grasp. Trying to steady my nerves, I dug in my backpack for the money to get a drink and casually walk up to the vending machine, which happened to place me directly between Derek and Elliot. You are all idiots. Red, you need to learn when to back off too. The same goes for you, I think. So here we are, a room full of overbearing people who need to back off. Maybe we should just start slamming each other around like savages, because that'll solve the problem. I glared at the vending machine as it spat my money back out at me. It wasn't like they had any good drinks anyway, but I was trying to make a point here and it wasn't helping. I took my dollar back and looked at Sean, who was staring like I'd sprouted a second head. Can I borrow $1? I offered him the wrinkled dollar the machine wouldn't take, but he snatched it out of my hand and ripped it in half. Don't play dumb, I know what you're doing. While I'm standing in front of a vending machine, it's not hard to work out. He slammed his head against the front of the machine. What the hell? He slammed my head or his head? Because it just said... Oh, wait. He slammed his... Sorry, I can't even fucking read. He slammed his hand. Sorry. The plastic cover warped inward but didn't break. I jumped and looked over my shoulder, hoping there weren't any cranky lunch ladies lurking in the kitchen still. Stay out of our business. You're just an outsider. You don't know anything about us. I feel like we had this conversation already. I don't know why you people are so convinced no one else can understand you. Like, your problems are so unique. We have to stick together, whether you understand it or not. I don't know why all of you are like this. What is with your community and insisting no one else can understand you? You can only rely on each other and you need to just ignore everyone else? Are all of you this dumb, or have I just had really bad luck in the werewolves I've met? Whoa, wait up. Who else have you even met? Ugh, some sort of lady named Rachel and her creepy bodyguard, or whatever he is. It doesn't matter, the point stands. The two of them were giving me a strange look. Come to think of it, Rachel indicated they knew each other. Neither Sean nor Derek spoke again. They retreated to the hall almost as soon as I mentioned Rachel, leaving Ellie and I alone in the cafeteria. As soon as they were gone, my legs turned to jello and I leaned heavily against the vending machine. You okay? Yeah, facing down angry werewolves, not fun. Tell me about it. Still, anyone ever told you that you have talent for diffusing things? Not really. I actually tend to make them worse. Well, I was worried there for a minute, I'll admit. Man, what sparked that? I just suggested maybe they should go down to the agency to ask for help. Apparently not a good idea. Ugh. With all their whining about how no one cares, they sure are quick to reject help from anyone but Danny. How can they expect people to not dislike werewolves when they're all standoffish brats? Well, they have their reasons for not trusting others, I guess, especially Sean. Anyway, can we agree to not tell Danny about this? Why? This kind of thing upsets him, and I just don't want him to blame himself. Those two have been trying to split Danny away from the rest of his friends since they arrived, me in particular. And Danny always feels guilty when they clash with me. I mean, it's not his fault, but I guess he reckons I wouldn't have to deal with it if he wasn't my friend to begin with. Yeah, that pretty well aligned with his behavior on our date thing as well. Anyway, I've told him to not worry about it. Not like I can't take care of myself. Even when it's 2 against 1. I am a vampire, you know. Yeah, but they're werewolves. I know, I just... This is a... William? This is a pickle. I'll keep it a secret. I think Danny would want to know. I don't think it's good to keep secrets from a potential boyfriend. And I think he would be hurt if his best friend Elliot didn't tell him, and then his potential girlfriend didn't tell him. I feel like Danny would want to know. I could understand Elliot's perspective. I really could. I also didn't want to tell Danny something that was just going to upset him, make him feel bad. But I knew Danny preferred people to be upfront with him about things. I think Danny would want to know about this. I know he would, but can't you do me this one favor? Danny doesn't need to know everything. He doesn't really seem fond of secrets. He's not... It's just... Ugh. I don't want him to feel bad about this. I don't want to upset him even more. I reached over and gave his hand a squeeze. I can't do that. Danny will be jealous. Look, I won't say anything this time. It's not my story to relay to him. Thanks. I appreciate it. No problem. He laughed slightly. Man, I can't believe you just walked right between us like that and asked to borrow some money. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Mozzie, I've been looking all over for you. We both jumped at the sound of Danny's voice, and I pulled my hand away from Elliot's. Shit, that does not look good. Hey, sorry, got distracted. Please don't think of me wrongly. Danny studied us both seriously for a moment. Sorry to bother you guys, but we have work. Sorry. Well, come up now. Well, Elliot and I need to head to the agency, and Vilas was looking for you, Michiko. I was just about to go up. I'll see you two later. I shot Elliot another smile as I started out the cafeteria. Be careful today. Thanks, we will. I wondered just how long it would be before Elliot would totally crack and blab about what happened. I was giving it 10 minutes, tops. Maybe 15 if he was really determined. Well, it was probably for the best in it, either way. The clubroom was empty by the time I'd gotten up there. I was surprised, to be honest. I dumped my belongings on the sofa and went to knock quietly on the library door. I peeked in before stepping through. Vilos was at his desk, as usual. Do you live here, Vilos? He looked up as soon as I entered. Miss Melanie, thank you for coming by. Well, Allie said you wanted to speak with me. Indeed, I did. He motioned me towards the desk. Miss Fisher indicated you'd like to help the interns with their assignment this week. Well, if there's something I can help with, yeah. He looked at me over the top of his glasses. She also indicated you had been approached by a drifter over the weekend that had pulled some of your hair out. It wasn't a big deal. Perhaps not, but it's not a small matter. Danny was with me and he didn't think too much of it. Danny is one of our most talented and dedicated interns, but he doesn't know everything there is to know just yet. Fair enough, but the drifter ran off and I haven't seen it since. He sighed, which I wasn't taking as a good sign when it came to him deciding to let me help. I don't think it's a good idea to get you involved with the agency so early, but Miss Fisher insisted it would be good for you. While I don't entirely agree, perhaps we can permit you to help with some of the early patrols on something. Yeah. Just in your own neighborhood, while you're unlikely to encounter anything dangerous. Really? I definitely could not keep the glee off my face, even though it still didn't give me anything to do until the weekend. It was still kind of exciting. However, you are to be in your home by sundown, period. I understand that Miss Fisher has installed a barrier there. Yeah, she did that this past weekend. Good. Thank you, I really appreciate this. I think it'll just be nice to see how things work and everything, instead of feeling like I'm stuck on the fringes with no idea what's really going on. How is your research progressing? Ugh. I have to sigh as I lean on the counter. I haven't found much, really. I understand you're having some issues with the glamour spell. Wow, they really do tell you everything, don't they? It's my job to oversee the students at the school, so yes, they answer my questions when I ask them. I made a face at that. Well, yes, I'm sure you've already heard the details, and really the glamour issue isn't helping on the research front. I was already sidetracked by figuring out how to appease the brownie my brother upset. Now this, and I still don't know anything about how I ended up vain in the first place, why I'm using glamour without realizing how I'm doing that. Not to mention still not figuring out anything about my brother, or if my disappearances 5 years ago are related to any of this. And if they are, what exactly that means. I sigh, again, giving him an apologetic smile. Sorry for ranting. It's quite alright. Your frustration is understandable, but perhaps you're on the right track with this small break of yours. Perhaps it's time to leave behind the books and try to work through your own experiences one by one. While I know you're missing some memories regarding your past, perhaps compiling what you do recall will be useful. It may be that there are clues you're overlooking. You're more likely to learn something about yourself from your own memories than from unrelated books. I guess that's true. And even if you need a break from your research, there's no reason to sit around and wait for the holiday, is there? This holiday that seems to take forever to come. You're right, I was surprised that he was so, well, reasonable. He usually seems so gruff and distant. I guess he wasn't really all that bad after all. Thank you, I'll definitely do that. Good luck, I hope you find what you're looking for. Me too. I left him there after that and returned to the club room, mulling over what he said. I didn't really know how much I'd be able to dredge up that I hadn't already ruminated on, but I'd give it a shot. It wasn't that I had given at least some thought to my own childhood memories anyway, but time has a way of distorting things to the point you can't always tell what's memory or not though, so I wasn't sure how reliable those memories were. If I could have bounced them off with Spencer, if we could work on it together. As it was, I just kind of wanted to bounce heavy objects off his head. No working together. So I was on my own with this one, at least for now. I flopped on the sofa and pulled out my journal, writing down old memories, trying to remember weird events. It all sounded easy enough, but where did I even start with that? I could remember laying under trees and seeing faces in the branches above. Real or just imagination? I didn't even know anymore. Spencer and I would play in the woods behind the house, and we'd sometimes encounter hikers, like the lady in the green. I frowned. We would see her a lot, a pale woman with long blonde hair and a green dress. She walked with a funny sort of limp, and every time she saw us, she immediately walked us back to her house. Once I was nearly certain I'd seen the tail in the folds of her skirt, but Spencer told me I was seeing things. Remembering her, I suddenly thought of a fairy I'd read about when I first started my research. A solitary fairy that wore green and was known to help lost children find their way home. The scribbling always freaks me out. Jesus. Seriously, man, I'd actually completely forgotten about her. We saw her so many times. She caught us playing on the mound in the woods and immediately called us awake, scolding us for playing there, and she walked us home. That mound. We played a lot there, but ugh. I shook my head. I felt like I was forgetting something about it, but I had no idea what. I spent the next hour trying to remember that and whatever else I could from back then. The lady in the green dress, the old man that always sat in the old apple tree at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and other things I hadn't thought about in years. I had a splitting headache by the time Allie texted me. Hey, back. Want to come down? Sure, give me a bit. At side parking lot. Be there soon. I yawned and slid the journal back in my book bag. To be honest, I wasn't even sure how relevant any of this stuff I wrote down even was. It's not like I had any sudden revelations about myself. Beyond that, I had a really weird childhood, or a very active imagination. I was leaning on the former, all things considered. If anything, I had more questions than ever. I yawned and started out of the club, trying to get my mind off of it. Okay, we're not done yet. The more I tried to remember, the worse my headache got. It was definitely overdoing it. I stepped outside and rubbed my eyes as I rolled my neck and started around to the side of the school. But I stopped when I saw a dark figure crouching on the grassy area in front of the school. I swear, I thought it was gonna be a drifter. Brenna, what's she doing? She stood, walked a few feet, and crouched again. Picking up trash? That was surprising. I didn't really get that kind of vibe from her. Should I help her? Really debating if I should help her. But we're gonna stop here for the next episode. We're gonna decide if we help her pick the trash or just walk past her. I don't know what the hell she's doing. Volunteer work? I don't know. But anyway, this is where we're gonna stop. Thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.